Yeah,
script.
happy days. I'm more than happy to have a chat about it.
But yeah, I mean, it's an area that we need to know about, isn't it? Because that is so relevant and prevalent right now.
Yeah, well, it's going to happen in one way, shape, or form. It will happen. There's no question in my mind.
Yeah.
Oh, we are having a little old chat here whilst we're live on YouTube. Welcome to one and all who have joined us on that particular vehicle. No, I was actually going to play some music, Ash, but no, I better not do that. That's not a good idea.
No, not allowed, mate. Not allowed. G'day, Dennis. Hey, Jimmy.
That would allow us to get in contact with Paul rather swiftly, I would have thought.
That's true.
If we can't get hold of him, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, that is true.
Guys, it is Wednesday, hump day, and still I'm awaiting a setup. I may have one on the Kiwi coming up. We're getting very, very close to that. And of course, the Kiwi news this morning it's a little bit to be expected, I suppose. They were talking about more monetary easing, and that seems to be the case. So I don't know that the market's that red hot on selling the Kiwi off, but there is a potential false break at a nice spot, and we'll get to that very, very shortly. Have you got anything urgent, Ash?
Nothing urgent, mate. A little question on gold, which we can get to afterwards. Nothing urgent. The FTSE's in a little bit of a crossfire. I think we're probably looking to go long. It could do with breaking a level. I mean, should we quickly do it? I mean, very, very briefly, because we've got a few minutes here before we need to place a pound trade. So very, very briefly with the FTSE. And I'll get back to gold here. Jimmy, could you just qualify why a sell? And silver, why a sell? Why are we looking at sells in this? In these two, silver looks a bit more likely, I suppose. Inverted head and shoulders though, so be careful. But yeah, if you just give, tell me why you're thinking a sell, what time frame you're looking at, and what suggests to you that we should be selling gold and or silver. FTSE 100 looks like it's broken through this level, and it looks to me like we could be going higher, but this is problematic. We got this fairly strong horizontal level here. Okay, Jimmy, I will check that out. A fairly strong horizontal level. So for us to really go long with any confidence, we've got to get through this area here. As for the shorts, yeah, it could happen, couldn't it? We could get down to this particular point here, but Jeff was just talking about extra stimulus, and that's it's quite problematic if you're looking to go short. To assume that we should be selling the market off, we should be selling off shares if there is further help for equities, makes it a bit of a tricky. I want to use the word sell again, but that would be it would confuse context. It would make it a tricky argument, so the argument to sell this off because of global stimulus, more stimulus coming, makes it hard. I mean, I would certainly go with the argument of the in the increasing cases, increasing in coronavirus cases. That would be a fair reason to be looking for a short in the market. But it's kind of counterbalanced, isn't it, with the potential of further stimulus. So I'm finding that the sell a little bit tricky, and couple that with the fact that we might well be looking at an area where there are pivots not too far away. So I'm looking to buy this market. Let me just bring this back again, just so we got it. So we got our level. So I'm looking to buy the market, but I am just going to wait until I see us get above this level here. So I'm looking around about 63.11 right now. So that's it for me, mate. Really, we can go straight to the pound trade and come back and check out if there's any decent setup on the FTSE after that.
Happy days. I will go there in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, but at the moment I'm typing. Right. That's 2 shakes. We are done with the lamb.
Blimey, actually, the market does look a bit weak. I'll tell you what, if we are looking... Okay, yeah, no problem, mate. We'll come back to me in a moment, but actually the market does look a little bit weak here. I'm going to check something else out if I can.
Well, courtesy of, once again, Kumar's wonderful EA that he's made for us, we have an automatic buy and sell price, and of course stop loss, the reverse of those. I'll just take that off now because we no longer require it, because it's given us our numbers, which are today selling the pound at 1.2491, and we have a stop loss of 1.2530. So pretty tight range here today on the pound. That could be a good thing. It might be a bad thing. I don't know. And the buy price, of course, is 1.2530 with a stop loss at 1.2491. I just better place those orders. Firstly, the sell stop. And we're going to go through the spreadsheet tomorrow, because really effectively it's the last of them before we go into analysis, which will start not next week, but the week after. 1.2491. Had a good old yarn on the US session last night with your mate Mario Ash, and about cryptos and all sorts of things around that. Really enjoyed that. It's good.
Oh, it was great, mate. And you know what? I was going to try and paraphrase what he said, really for Helen, but it was so there was so much covered. We seem to go a bit everywhere. So yeah, there was so much covered. I don't know where to start, or I don't know. Oh, it was great, Helen. It was really good. You know, he's very informed and very insightful. And as I say, I was hoping to paraphrase it for you, but I don't think I can. It was just it's just so much. I think we're going to have to get him back in. I'll try and keep him, as I say, on scripts. So we just do cover the cryptos, because we burnt an hour, pretty comfortably without any problem at all, and it wasn't that it was boring at all. It was a brilliant conversation, but there's just so much to know that I think we're going to have to get a bit more economical with our information.
Okay, couple of questions. Helen, euro dollar. Let's take a look, shall we? We have got wrong bar for me. Saw that this morning, and had that been a white body, I would have traded this short already. But at this very moment, what I'm looking at is a break of the daily pivot, maybe hit the top of this channel again, and then pull back, retest the daily pivot, and give us a nice reversal bar short, but a white reversal bar, not a black reversal bar. That's what I'm looking for. I think I can actually get rid of that trade line, and I'll take it up to there, because that may give us an opportunity as well. So I want to see the daily pivot tested at least, or broken, as I say, back to this level, and then retest from below. Or we could go here, back underneath here, and retest. The tricky part about that would be I can't trade into the daily pivot that's untested without taking profit. So we really at some stage have to break the daily pivot and give us a retest. So this area is very, very key for me, absolutely. I do like the fact that we've matched this shoulder. So if you're looking at the head and shoulders here, we've come back and matched that and peeled back off it pretty quickly. So we don't like this level above here, apparently. And that is, of course, as I've been telling you guys for a matter of weeks, 113.60 is my cap here on euro dollar, right? If we get through 113.60, then I'll have to change tack. But 113.60 is keeping a cap on euro dollar for mine. And well, that cloud of price, 113.50 to 114, that cloud of price keeps a cap on the euro. So I'm not looking to trade it long until we break that level and come back and retest it. And that, of course, is this level here. So, we're bang on that resistance level, and we have been pretty much hanging out there for a little bit now. So I'm expecting that to effectively give us resistance at some stage and trade it back. The other one was dollar Swissy. Dollar Swissy. I will have a dollar Swissy chart about there somewhere. Okay, that's the hourly. Daily's telling me that we have had a finally break back away from the weekly pivot and bang, bang in the last 2 days with an interesting bar yesterday. Doesn't like this level through here, or it didn't yesterday anyway. I would suggest we're going to have another, well, we're having another crack at it now. For me to trade that, as always, I want to trade a short off resistance. But do I want to go short here? That's an interesting higher low right there. Off a bullish engulfing bar. I don't know that I want to trade this short. Though it has bounced off there substantially, hasn't it? That's a higher low for mine. Off a bullish engulfing bar. So I'd be expecting this to rally. To trade it, there's only one way I can trade that from here, apart from just trading the bar itself. And that would be a break of support. Let's find this level again, get back above. It's exactly the reverse of what I've just described on the euro. Get above the daily pivot, then come back and retest. That would be my entry for the long. So that is my dollar Swissy penchant for now. Should it break this level, different story, of course, but at the moment, I'll be looking for longs, not shorts. Oh, don't tell me, Chandru. I woke up this morning and nearly choked on my porridge when I saw that. I really did, because we spoke about it yesterday, right? There was a question, and I think it was, can we go long here? I'm not sure, can't remember what the question was. Oh, yes, I do remember what the question was. The question was the first 4 bars of the day, and it turned into 6 bars, a double cross, right? And then I pointed out that, no, that wasn't a double cross, but this is, and that's a short. It's also a false break of the weekly pivot and a false break of the top of the channel. That was my comment. And because I'd sacked dollar yen, my bullheadedness stopped me from actually taking that trade. I think it was about 12 pips turned into about 100 in a heartbeat, pretty much. I think that's about right. So entry there, stop loss about there. Yeah, 11 or 12 pips turned into, 93. Yeah, nice, eh? Really nice. Sadly, without me. If we're going to short euro dollar, should we not go dollar Swissy long? Well, it's, as I said, it's pretty much the same, isn't it? The setup's the same. You're just flipping one on the other side. So, yep, absolutely right. And you're looking at the daily on the euro. Helen, is it the euro or dollar Swissy? Let me go to the euro first and look at the daily. I'm getting the same thing, really. We can sell the yen again today, can we? Okay, hang on a sec. So the daily chart on the euro, right? You've got to kind of remember, if you're asking me to analyze the chart, it's probably going to be different to what the trend people will say, because I trade completely different. I'm not looking to trade with the trend. I'm looking to trade most times against it, if anything. So yes, I see that we've broken the top of the channel. Yes, I see that we've got a buying bar to some degree. It's got a white body in anyway on the daily chart, but I also see this rejection of this level again. And for mine, I'm not looking to trade long. So that's the same. Dollar Swissy was daily. Okay. Dollar Swissy on the daily. Yeah, well, it really is, isn't it? Turn yourself upside down, and it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. So we're trading into support if you want to trade short. This bar here, again, is suggesting that there are still sellers around, but only up to a point. They don't like it past this level at this moment. So again, for mine, that's an indecisive bar that doesn't really tell me a lot, except that it's probably a buying bar for me. And that's exactly what I'm saying. It's not the bar I want to trade because I'm trading straight back into a level that's just been resistance and strong resistance. So I want to trade it from down here, but I totally see the bar, and I totally see that my penchant is to trade it in a long direction. So exactly that's what I'll be trying to do. Very mutable here. Only no 1 minute chart. No, definitely not 1 minute chart for me. Monthly chart maybe, but not minute chart, no. Aussie CAD H4 sell. Okay, let's have a look at that. Now that sounds like a plan. Aussie CAD. Yes, waiting on it, but it's not there for me yet. As always, what I'm looking for is top of range, come off the top of the range, either hit the daily pivot and bounce off it, give us a lower high, or give us a lower high here in concert with a trend line or a trade line or something. So maybe we're looking at this. Maybe we poke our head above here, come back underneath and retest, effectively giving us a lower high from which we then can trade, because we've now got a confluence area of trend line or trade line and top of range. And of course, we've been hammering our head on this level around about the 94 mark. Bang, 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 bang. Sounds like a Western, but that's exactly what I'm seeing here. There's a theory, of course, that goes the more a level is tested, the more likely it is to break. I would say that equally, the more it's rejected, the more likely it's to be rejected again. So I don't see that as a fait accompli in any way, shape or form. But I do see that people would start to get interested in adding long positions here if we got a daily pivot test. At the end of the day, we're in a range, and for that reason, I'm not looking to trade outside that range. I'm looking to trade inside it, what I call the burglar trade. Break-ins, not breakouts. So as we come back in, lower high, short. That's what I'm thinking. Dollar Swissy, we've done that. CAD yen. I think that's CAD yen. Indeed it is. CAD yen again, pretty rangy, is it not? That's always a good thing for me, because then I can isolate what I can't do, and that's a good start, you know. If you can say, well, I can't do that, then you're a fair way ahead of the pack, frankly. And what I see here is no bottom, no top. So I think we're floating inside that range, and I don't have a reason to trade right now. What would change my mind? Well, I'd like to see the bottom and then a higher low, or I'd like to see the top and then a lower high. If I'm forced to say which way I think this will go next, no idea. I've got a pennant here, or you guys, I think, call it an equilateral triangle or equal triangle, whatever you call them. And until that's kind of decided the issue, it's pretty much tough to predict from an intraday point of view. But from my viewpoint, I'm thinking daily pivot, weekly pivot combination is a massive attraction for the market, as you saw here, bang, bang, and bang again. So I don't know that we'll go too far away from that area. Trading towards it, why not? If we got a break below the support level, got back above it and retested it, then I think there's probably an entry long, taking profit at the pivots. So that would be my take on CAD yen. Anything, Ash, to add to those, or you're okay with that? And if you're talking to me, you're muted. Pound. Pound has not yet been triggered. I've spoken about the euro. Dollar yen, yeah, look, what a miss that was. Chore. Today, what do I do with dollar yen? Well, you guys know I'm still short-term bullish the dollar, right? But dollar yen has a mind of its own, really has a mind of its own. So it's not unusual to see dollar, everything else go long, and to still go short euro dollar yen. So, yeah, look, I am bearish dollar yen overall, but that's based on last time we hit the range parameters or fences, if you like. We haven't been to the bottom, but look what we're getting. You know, it's like Zorro slash. Oh, look, I'm really not looking for a sell at a support level, LT. I'm looking for a sell, but I want, yeah, we had it yesterday, right? And I missed it, like a stubborn-headed or a bull-headed person that I sometimes can be. I sacked dollar yen, and just when I sack it, of course, it produces a beautiful trade. I still think I'm in that camp because of my bias long the dollar, short-term bias only. Tried dollar yen yesterday, Helen, did you? Did you capture that move off the nice false break of the weekly pivot? That would have been lovely if you did. So yeah, look, I am biased short dollar yen, medium to long term, but I'm short term bullish the dollar. So it's very, very difficult for me right now to go short. And if I saw another one of those, I'd probably be tempted, I've got to say. But it's one of those things where Murphy's Law takes over, or Sod's Law, or whoever you got, any one of those. And what happens is if you sack anything, right? It's like superstition. If you were to sack dollar yen, as I did earlier in the week, I said, no, I'm not going to trade dollar yen until it sorts itself out. And has it sorted itself out? I don't know that it has really. It's just an impulsive move for whatever reason. I've got no idea why that happened. No idea. Somebody probably said something. I don't know. But sorry, I'm just distracted there or something. But with my bias long the dollar, I've just got to stay out again now. And if I do go back in now and got a setup like that here, then I'm a hypocrite because I've either sacked it or I haven't. There's no point saying I've sacked it until something's clear to me. And then just because there was a movement, go back into the market. That's a recipe for you'll get rolled over, knocked over. So I won't be doing that unless there's a very, very clear scenario for me. Is dollar yen showing a flag pattern to go down? Yeah, look, it's almost that, isn't it, really, at the end of the day? And of course, what we're talking about is the very big flagpole that was produced as a result of that sell-off yesterday. And you got a little flag sitting there. I'll say you got a little flag sitting there. So I'd be okay with that. Great place to trade it from, as a matter of fact. So if you did see that again on the daily pivot and you are inclined to go short, then absolutely great place to trade from. Absolutely great place to trade from. Take profit here and then let the rest rip. And if you've got another one of those, my goodness, I would choke on my porridge tomorrow. But there you go. Rising wedge. Yeah, well, call it what you want. Yeah. Strongly bearish. Yeah, look, it is. Absolutely. It's a bearish signal. I agree with you. But it's not with my analysis. So my analysis is still with US dollar long. So, how many times this week have I been unable to trade because of my bias? Many times. Can't trade euro long, can't trade Aussie long, unless I see perfect setups, and I haven't. I've seen lots of little setups, and sadly that most of them actually produce pips. But I'm okay with that. I'm happy to wait until something comes very, very clear to me. Kiwi short. Yeah, Kiwi short. Because of the news, it's tempting to even think that way, just without even looking at the chart, isn't it? Really, because of the QE penchant from the RBNZ. Where is my Kiwi dollar chart? There. I did have a look at this earlier, and I saw the potential in this if we got a test of the daily pivot. That's what I was talking about before. So we've had a break of the daily pivot, and if we got a retest of the daily pivot now on the 4-hour chart that's got an hour and a half to go, then I'd jump in, definitely. I don't want it to get any closer to the weekly pivot because my entry is going to have to be here. But I totally get it. And the setup's there, and we've come back to the neckline again. So it would be a false break of that as well. The neckline's about there somewhere. So it all looks good for a short here. I agree 100% with it. And it does look like a false break of that trend line. So what exactly is news from low or RBNZ just keeping everything on low? I didn't know. Have we had news from low this week? I don't know, have we? But from RBNZ, they've just really repeated what they've already said before, and that's why the market was, I think, almost ready for what we got, and that's what was holding a cap on Kiwi US dollar. That's why it was unable. If you take a look at last week's price action, and this week's to some degree, it had a little bit of a fake out there yesterday. But that's why there's been a cap on this, why it hasn't been able to create new highs. I think because the market knew what was coming. And that's why I think also that this hasn't gone down maybe to the 63 mark or 62 mark, because the market was expecting pretty much what they got. Couldn't find Forex articles with details. Should be on rbnz.co.nz. No, I would have thought. I'll have a look at that in just a tick. Ash, you about? Has Ash left us? Let me see.
Sorry, mate.
No,
Yeah, weird power outage and everything just collapsed here, so I had to get back online. It might well happen again. Yes, I am here, mate. I am here.
What are there storms about or something?
Nothing. Is absolutely probably our hottest day of the year. We've got about 27 degrees in the bank at the minute.
Oh.
And I'll be going to the beach after this show for a little swim in the sea.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yeah, because it's probably just about warm enough for me now. Yeah, just probably. I mean, I can't do much more than echo your sentiment, really, mate. It's just a market I don't really feel that excited about participating in. You know, we've got some movement with the FTSE. It is looking a bit heavy here. Maybe it gets caught up at the pivot. Maybe it continues to go to the downside. I don't know. I mean, I'll show you charts, unless you're still doing some stuff there.
Sorry, well, I'm choking on. I'll get there.
Yeah, you said the word you were choking on, but then when you told us what it was you were choking on, you were muted.
It was a reflex action as what's that throat muscle in there that closes?
Yeah. I'm not sure you're what is that throat muscle called?
It forced my finger to press the trigger on mute. It was a reflex action. My apologies. Pretty cold in Singapore, is it? What's it drop down to 30,000?
Yeah, 30,000 centigrade. You'd kill for 27. What are you at right now, Joe? John, sorry. What's the temperature in Singapore at the minute? Sino said Jeff's choking on porridge due to the dollar yen.
No, as I said earlier, I nearly did this morning.
Oh, that's good. That is good.
That was exactly my reaction. I had to have a double take.
Right. Always 31 plus there. Oh, you kill for 27 just because it'd be a bit cooler, you mean? Yeah. Yeah, I know it's a bit. It gets a bit too warm for me, a bit too hot for me in Singapore. And I wouldn't mind if, in actual fact, it's amazing when you get an outdoor pool. You know is absolutely brilliant. But yeah, I get too hot for me is not. It just doesn't suit me. Doesn't suit me too well.
No, doesn't suit me. Not one bit. Euro dollar
Yes.
head and shoulders.
Euro dollar head and shoulders. Okay, so have a look at that. The FTSE looks a bit heavy here. It looks like we should get some further downside. It needed to get in up here if we were going to go short. Really, I didn't like it. I was really looking at the long, but then the market started to look a bit heavy, and then things just didn't line up. So this is one that I will be letting go.
We're on my screen, Ash.
Oh, sorry, mate. Okay.
That's okay.
Here we go. Yeah, so the FTSE here, we needed to get in short up here, but as I say, I didn't like it. The fact that we've broken through this level here was a bit of a problem up here, but now we're underneath it. Maybe there's another opportunity if it comes back and retest that area there. We might be able to take on the shorts on the FTSE, and I'm just going to double check. But I don't like it. Not loving the way the market's looking right now. I've got very little enthusiasm for it, and I'm just seeing some mixed signals. You know, even though it looks a bit heavy, and even though it certainly appears that the downside will come, I just don't see I don't see this being too easy, and I might be way off the mark.
Daily pivot close under the daily pivot and a retest of that trend line would interest me.
Yeah, and there's a head and shoulders pattern there as well, and maybe that might end up interesting me as well. But you know, I'm just seeing the moves in the market just being incredibly tepid, and I'm not that keen on that. Euro dollar. What was the question on euro dollar? Sorry.
I think Helen was spotting a head and shoulders on the 30-minute chart. Was that right? No, it's Chandru. Chandru, sorry.
You're going to be stretching the friendship to call that head and shoulders. I think
it's a bit offset, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, but yeah, it's a little bit offset.
I think you've got probably a different pattern really now. Let's see. This one you could have said yes, fine. You know, so we can still qualify that as a head and shoulders, but not now. Well, you do have a break of a level here though, and that looks like the pattern to me now. Yeah, a little bit of a rising wedge. It's not very big, and that might just halt it, you know, somewhere around the daily pivot area. Pretty tight, isn't it? You know, the ranges are a little bit tight here. Let's check it a little bit further out and see if we can actually garner anything from that. It's not that we can't take something like this, but we really need a bit of context to see what else there is. Now, when you look on the hourly, we do have this level here, and it's right on top.
That trade from my point of view, but I wasn't looking at it.
What's that? The euro. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to the daily pivot, it does look like there's a bounce area here, though. This is the issue, isn't it? You would have taken profit already, wouldn't you?
Just before the low of the day, which was just bang on my first take profit level, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Or my acceptable take profit level.
Definitely see that.
So, yeah, could have taken it. Yep.
Yeah, definitely see that. If it closes under the daily pivot, then that's going to be much more significant because you not only got a daily pivot close, but you've also got a trend line close as well. So so that, unless the line is there, it could even be there. Could even be there, but you are, in fact, it probably is. I mean, that looks like it's got some pretty clean touches there. So closing there is great. What you could now trade is the return to the pattern, which may not quite get there, but you could have a look to see whether you now get a bar up here. If you get something up there now, And then you're looking for. I mean, I always draw this this high test because it's just the cleanest to draw. But you're looking for something which would suggest that you've got a reversal bar, and then you could trade it. But a bounce off this daily pivot is really what you need here, going back into the trend line. So I would have thought you were looking for around something around the 1130. Maybe 113.10 level, but slightly lower than that would be okay. 113.07 would be all right because you got, looks like you've got this this little horizontal level here. Oh, sorry, this horizontal level here, which looks pretty good, doesn't it? There's a touch there, there's a touch there. That would lead us back into the trend line. So yeah, around about the 1.1308. I think there could be a short on there. So, you know, maybe look for signs and signals of reversal at that point. After the close, I would certainly want this to close down here on something, you know. Let's have a look on the 30. We just closed down on the 30. So any interest now, Jeff? No, it's closed down on the 30. Could you take this if it comes back to this point now?
I could take it now if the daily pivot wasn't there, but the daily pivot is there. I can't erase it, unfortunately. That's what I call a dominator. That's a dominator trade. So it's a massive dominant break of the trend line.
Yeah.
And you can trade it under my rules, but also under my rules, you can't trade into an untested daily pivot. And you could argue that the daily pivot's now been tested, and you could get a micrometer out to disprove that. But yeah, look, it's one of those. You damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So on 50-50s, I'm not interested at the moment.
Okay, that looks okay, doesn't it? FTSE is starting to look a bit more interesting as well. So I might well take a trade in the FTSE. So let's shape up for a short, and the short is going to be in this area. Now, this is not an entry yet, but what I will look for is 62.81. It's right into the daily pivot, isn't it? Not loving any of these really, mate.
And Chandra, well done for spotting it, mate. Yeah, good trade. It's a little bit of a scalp. Yeah, why not?
Nothing wrong with that in this environment. Yeah, the scalping is really on. I think scalping is really on the table right now. I think that's what we're after. I'm not really that keen on scalping and getting stops at break evens fast, because it might testing and which is the situation we really had yesterday.
It's due. It's definitely due, isn't it?
What's that? A bit of a break. Yeah, to actually go somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. This looks all right to me. This looks all right, except for, like you, mate, it's that daily pivot. So I wouldn't mind shorting this, but that daily pivot's a little bit problematic. Let me just see whether it's got any room. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It does look pretty good. I might take a punt on this.
We've been triggered short on the pound.
Oh,
At the daily
triggered short on the
same thing.
Oh, at the daily pivot, yeah. Let me just have a quick look, last look, just to see whether I want to short this here. Or shall I just accept that I'm going to miss this trade? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to accept that I'm going to miss this trade. I'm going to accept I'm going to miss this trade. I'm not going to feel too ill if it comes down 70 pips on a day like today. There's sometimes you just kind of look at a chart and you go, you know what? I see an opportunity to make some money here, but I also see a potential situation of just getting chopped around, and even though the opportunity to make money I think is bigger, I think the likelihood we go short here is bigger than the opportunity, the likelihood we get chopped around. I'm just not happy participating in it, you know. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, I
sticking
do
out of
know.
it. You know,
Absolutely
mate,
do.
don't you? You know, it's just
Yes.
I'm not happy with it. And you know,
I mean, if
it's only
that's one thing.
because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, actually, I could not trade for the rest of the month and be really happy with what I've got as a return for this month. I'm in double figures, and there's not really a great deal that I need to do to kind of you know,
No, there's definitely not.
improve the account that much. And the other thing is that there's going to be a cleaner opportunity. You know, I don't know when, but there's going to be a cleaner opportunity, and it might be in the US session. I don't know, but for right now, I'm gonna sit back, mate, and I'm gonna wait on this one. Let's have a look at some other questions instead. I think it might be one of those shows today where we don't take any trades, but can you comment on oil, since that will influence the dollar CAD? Yeah, let's have a look at oil, because the oil had a bit of a sink, didn't it? And then it bounced back again.
There was a nice setup there on dollar CAD earlier today in the Asia session. Nice little tweezer on off the daily pivot and the backside of a resistance trade line as a higher low. There you go. Don't
Yeah.
need too much more than that. That's on an hourly chart.
Is that oh
Dollar
gosh,
CAD.
yeah, dollar CAD.
Oh, double cross.
You got a trade?
That's oil. I won't be trading oil.
Oh, I see. Sorry, double cross on oil. Okay, so I'm just having a quick look at oil. So I'll tell you what I see on oil. I see on oil the potential for this to come down pretty hard, but I wouldn't mind it closing this month out somewhere in this area. So I'm looking at this monthly chart, and it might have another $4 to go. It might not. It might be this. There might be a horizontal level here that we might, you know, in actual fact, we could even use this this close down here. Looks like a touch there, pretty much a touch there, and it looks like we could be coming away from it here as well. So oil may well have run its course. The upside may well have run its course. Looking at that level there, it does suggest that if it hasn't run its course, then the next $4 could be of huge interest. But I'd really like it to get up here. You know, I'd really like it to be in this area by the end of the month. So I'm not looking for oil to really move in the next, we got 6 days or so, 6 or 7 days, for me to be a bit more comfortable trading it. Because I think if it started to weaken now, we might have another pop to the upside for, you know, before it goes down. But I am looking for weakness, because if you look at this, this is a primary trend line. This is the most significant. Sorry, there's a primary chart. This is the most significant time frame we can look at, and we've got a break to the downside and a potential retest up again. We got the same here. You know, so one way or the other, this is on a level of resistance here. Now, if we go down to a weekly, the weekly bar is starting to look a bit weak, and also we've got this gap. Now the gap is closed, so that gives us a green light to go. That does give us a green light to go and start and be able to trade this to the downside. So that you know, there's two things really in its favor there for some downside. Now let's check this on a daily and see if the timing's there. This is still making a higher high, a little bit of weakness off this, but it's still making a higher high at that particular point there. So it's not looking like it's ready to go yet. But let's have a look at some shorter term time frames, and then we start to see a different picture, because the 4 hourly may well now be forming head and shoulders. May well be forming that. So we've got levels up here. It could be another $4. but we've seen on the weekly chart that the gap is closed and the level of resistance is probably a bit more significant. So it could be, the monthly chart says it could be here, it could be on the week, it could be $4 higher. But when we start to see potential reversal patterns going on, then that does suggest that oil could actually start to move to the downside from this particular point instead. If we also bring in just a trend line along here, that looks like we're through. So it does appear that if we are going to be trading in any direction, we should only be looking for the shorts. That's really the first thing with oil, that we should probably only look at the short rather than the long. And there is a really nice setup right here and now. Is looking at this on an hourly. And we'll bring the pivots in here. Look at that. It's rejecting this pivot area again. Looks like we've got a little pattern here. Now, there's probably now not much point. So there's a little channel going on there. There's now not much point in trying to trade this short just yet. But if it breaks this channel, if it breaks below 39, looks like 39.96 and retests, if it can get a significant break to the downside, that would be a decent trade short. So yes, there's definitely something to look at with oil. As I said, I'd be a lot more comfortable if it was still here by the end of the month, in the next 7 days, and it might be choppy, but I think it's worth easing into this, because if we're looking on a monthly chart, for it to be in this area, it could still be $1 lower and not make too much and not this monthly chart won't look that different. And to get $1 lower on an hourly is quite significant, because your stops are going to be probably less than $1. So it looks pretty good, doesn't it? You got another 20 minutes before this bar closes, but you might even get an engulfing hourly bar here. And if that's the case, then it might well be worth just putting an entry under there rather than waiting for a break and retest. Sometimes it's worth trading the break. Sometimes it's worth trading the break and retest. In this particular scenario, this looks pretty good if this is an engulfing bar, particularly if the engulfing bar looks like this. I mean, this would just be, almost a dreamland setup, really. If the engulfing bar ends up looking like this, and closes below the trend line, and obviously it would engulf the previous bar, then it's well worth just putting an order in. So oil actually looks like a pretty good opportunity. I hadn't really considered oil as a potential trade, but that does look like a tradable opportunity. But you've got to wait for this bar to finish first. So allow the bar to finish. And after the bar's finished, then I think that looks like a decent downward trade, and you might really catch one as well. The way that oil's looking, you might catch an absolute cracker of a move over a month-on-month basis. Now, if it ends up all the way down here, then you may well want a test. So it really is dependent on where this bar closes. That would be a really good signal. This bar would be a really good signal if it ends up down there. Now, if you don't want to miss it, there's nothing wrong with putting something on the table here and then putting the rest on the table there. Nothing wrong with that at all. You might want to scale in if the bar ends up down there and you're a bit concerned that it's just going to keep going. You can scale in here. You can put an entry at that point. Maybe some of your position. I won't decipher how much you're going to put on, but you could put something in here. But then you could put another one in there. So looks pretty good, mate. I really like that. I think oil on a short-term basis looks good. I think on a longer-term basis it looks good too. So I think you may well be onto something.
Righto, we're going to have a look at Euro Yen for SWE.
Euro Yen, okay.
Yep. I can do that, or you can do that, whatever works.
Yeah, I can have a look at euro yen.
I'll be interested to see where you put your lines, your structural lines here.
Okay, great.
See how we analyze this chart.
Right, so euro yen.
H4.
H4, okay. I'm just having a quick look at, oof. Just checking one thing here. Yeah, okay. All right, so so we're obviously looking for upside in accordance to this this chart here. I've got a bit of a problem with a monthly. Bit of a problem with this monthly chart here. You know, looking at this bar, it's incomplete right now. But if that bar does actually show some signs of resistance and it ends up under this trend line, then I could see shorts in euro yen at 119.15. At this particular stage, the weekly does not agree with that. I'm just going to double check my lines here. Looks like it's here. Still suggests a test of that monthly pivot to me. Possibly not. Let's just have a look on the daily. The daily is really unclear. Four hourly. Let's just tell. Okay, so have a look at the H4. This is where we're going. Looks like that's there. Sorry. Okay, I think I've got something here. Right, it looks to me as the level, the lines are here. No, I don't know. There's not a trend line there, which puts us on top. Another head and shoulders potentially, isn't it? Under the weekly pivot, you know, I'd find it difficult to make a case for a long with this euro yen. It looks to me like under that weekly pivot would be the area that I'd be aiming for a short. You know, it's another one of those that if this was to weaken into the next 3 or 4 days, 3 or 4 trading days, then it would suggest that the euro yen is probably going to weaken significantly to the downside because of what's happened on that monthly time frame. So the euro yen would be another wait and see, I guess, but it does suggest under here and probably under here. So yeah, weekly pivot. Sorry, mate.
I'm just going to say for SWE, Ash's analysis is very well, same result as mine. It gets to a point where I got a little bit of an issue with your channel. I'd like to see that where you've got your channel, because I don't think the channel is, or the top of the channel is where you are. SWE I'm talking about, and I'll show you where mine is shortly. But totally biased short, no question mark in my mind that this will go short. But can I trade it short right now is the question that I ask myself. And the answer is no. for the same reasons Ash is pointing out there. You've got to go through 3 levels of resistance before you actually get into it to any money. So it's best, or support rather. So it's best in my book to wait for that to happen, or get far enough away from the support so that you can trade into it whilst taking profit before you get to it. So that's always going to be my approach. Now, do we all agree that this is going short? Yeah. And if you can find a way in to make money, happy days. But the way I think is I protect my capital first, and then if I get a setup that's in clear water, if you like, that's when I'll place the trade. So absolutely, totally get the bias, but I don't see an entry.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it's a bit early. Sorry, I didn't see what direction you were looking at, Swee. Were you a short as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, I think it's right. I think it is a short. There might even be a level up here as well. Yeah, it looks like that's what it's bouncing away from.
Go to a bigger time frame, Ash, and put in a descending channel. I want to see where you put yours.
Bigger time frame, daily enough, or
daily will do? Yep.
Okay.
Probably 4 hour. It'll give you a little bit more parameters.
Okay, 4 hour. Right. So on the 4 hour, Euro yen. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. All right. Actually, I probably do need it on there. Let me see. Oh, it's a mess, mate.
If you don't see one, then don't put it on there. That's fine.
Oh no, I do see one actually. It looks like it's there to me. Yeah, I'll tell you where I've got my channel on this.
Yep.
Is
at the moment we've got your cursor not moving on this. There you go. Now you've got 2 cursors.
It looks to me like it's around here. Right, I don't see a channel, would be my first thing. I see a pattern. There. Yeah, I've got a broadening pattern going on, mate. I don't see a channel.
Okay. Yep.
I don't like. It's horrible. I think it's a really hideous looking chart, if I'm honest. I don't see. It's just not very tidy. If that was to become a channel, then I guess. I mean, that's not the worst. Actually, you know what? Actually, yes, I do see a channel. Looking at this, I do see a channel, and it's there. Let me tighten it up with this level here. That's what I got. Little false break here, but that would be my channel.
Swee? I'd say that's Swee's channel as well. And it looks nice.
Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Is that the same channel you got there, Swee?
I think it might be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, looking at that, actually, it looks all right, doesn't it? It does look like
it looks better than mine. It does.
It does. Oh, well, maybe we'll have a look at yours as well. See what you got.
Yeah.
But I'd still want it under the weekly pivots. And then I think you've got a really nice looking trade actually. And if we are looking on this 4 hour, then you might get a really good signal from this 4 hour bar here. That does look pretty good.
Yeah, it's the only issue is the support you've got to get through to make money. That's the only issue.
Exactly. Now, if you were to, because what's the point in entering here? Like, you're so close to it, you may as well wait. You're going to give up a few pips, but the it's not. Yeah, I mean it's still it would be a 2-to-1 if you trade the bar. If you can get the bar under the weekly pivots, and this bar would be there, so it would be around about a 2-to-1 to the bottom, which wouldn't be bad, would it? And then take some profit there and see if it was to continue. Because if you look at the monthly does suggest that that there could be some further weakness, some significant weakness. So yeah, I like that, mate. There's two really good ideas there. I think oil's a really good idea for some downside, and I think this euro yen's another really good idea. So yeah, well done. I think that's really really good, mate. I think you guys are finding some really good looking trades here.
I agree, absolutely. And
Now
you go.
just on Jimmy as well. Jimmy was asking about gold quite a while ago. You're welcome, Sweet. Top of the descending channel for gold. I don't see the top of the descending channel. The best you got is this here, descending channel. Silver, sorry, buddy. Okay. Top of a descending channel for silver. Okay, let's have a look on silver. Right, so silver. Now, silver straight away. Why does that look different here? It's just through. It's just through the top of this area here. Now, that could be false, but that would certainly suggest. So you look on your monthly chart, it's just through that top line. Only just. Is this an exhaustion bar? Quite possibly. This is an indecisive bar, so it could be downside for silver, but so far we don't have evidence to suggest that. Now let's have a look on the that's on the monthly. Now, if that bar ended up where it was, then you might well have a case to be made. Again, you're looking at the end of the month, but let's have a look at that in a moment. Now that brings us to. Oh man, these charts are they're just messy. This is a mess. As silver's not the easiest to trade anyway. What do we got? I don't think I can get anything from that weekly. What we got here? The daily's not any cleaner. Yeah, it looks to me like the 4 hour is probably the most. Is the easiest one to look at. I'd still be looking at upside personally with silver. Not ready to short. Breaks this trend line. You can have a different conversation about it, but that still looks like silver's got. It doesn't necessarily like it's got some room. You look at that monthly chart, and it looks like it's just going to freeze here at best. But it's certainly it's not breaking down. You haven't got any signs and signals that this one's breaking down at all. It's above the daily pivot as well. It's continuing to step up. It's got a trend line here on the 4 hour, which it hasn't even tested as yet. So you don't know what the reaction is going to be at that particular point. You know, and because of that, it's very difficult to come down to the hourly chart and make any kind of assertions on it. So I would suggest that silver's not ready. If it's on your watch list for a short, I think that's not a bad idea. You know, you probably, again, you're looking at how does it end by the end of the month? How does it close by the end of the month? Now that could mean that you can get into a short here and see if the end of the month does actually give you what you need, which would be some weakness and closing really under its monthly level. So if you get that, taking a short wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing in the world, but you probably want your stops pretty high. You know, I don't think I'd be comfortable trading a bar on something like this because I think there's too much out there which would suggest that that you could get some further volatility and possibly some further upside. You know, coming back to this chart is the problem for the short. So if you get what you need, which is closing under, looks like 1780, not much, but closing under 1770, yeah, probably under 1770. Then looking for the short into July, I think would be pretty cool. But for right now, I would suggest there's a suggestion right now, you know, for me anyway, that that silver's at least going to hang on. Pushing higher and exploding to the upside, yeah, okay, that doesn't look particularly likely. But holding on at this stage, that's still on the cards. So I wouldn't be looking at trading silver to the short side just yet.
Okay, mate. Where are we at? We're a bit time pushed today, aren't we? Not. We need to get out of here reasonably soon. Natural gas, got no idea. Never traded it in my life and don't have a chart on it. I don't know about you, Ash.
Nat gas. Don't think we got nat gas. No, I haven't got nat gas.
Pound Kiwi gone into retracement or changed direction. Pound Kiwi. Very quickly. Yeah, at this point in time, you're still below the trend line, I think, by the look of that anyway, but you're having a challenge of it now. So great question. What I would like to see if I'm trading this is a break of where we are now, because that's a form of resistance, a support level rather, from a horizontal point of view, going back 2 weeks. That's been a support level for 2 weeks, proved as resistance last week, and now we're back there again. So is it resistance? Is it support? It's right bang on the trend line as well. You've got to see that trend line break really and be retested. And it is a confluence area, and the weekly pivot thrown in there as well. So as far as I'm concerned, you need to see a break of, let's call it 193.80, and then a retest of that before you would look to go long. So there's the question mark. I don't know yet. The answer's not there. You are on Ash's screen. I'll very, very quickly go through a couple of things that I am looking at before we call it quits. Yeah, I'll change the screen, guys. And then we're going to fly the coop. All right. So Euro, same story. And as it turns out, I couldn't have taken that trade anyway under my rules, because there's the low of the day. I thought that was the low of the day. It isn't. So I can't trade into the low of day on my rules without taking profit, and there was no room for profit there. And the daily pivot, yep, I reckon that was a good option to get most of it off at that level. I would like to see, as always, a break of resistance, come back down here and then go short. That's my penchant. Aussie dollars, very, very similar in that it is at the shoulder level, if you like, of these reversals or potential reversals that we were looking for last week. Got into a lot of them, but now a lot of our trading stops have been hit, having taken profit, which is obviously what the object of the exercise is, but we didn't get as much as we thought we might. We thought we might be down here with some of these. Nothing's changed. Still got the same analysis, looking for price to come back into the range, low or high. I think I can say that to just about every single currency pair that I'm trading at the moment. They have shown promise. They've gone back to their breakout levels, and that's when I get interested again. So pound US dollar, yep, I'm biased short, but I can't trade here. I've got to get underneath that trend line, underneath the weekly pivot, retest it, then I can go. So they're all the same. They're really all the same. This one we've spoken about, euro yen. I'm still in that trade anyway from 2 weeks ago, I think, or something like that. So yeah, I've got no concerns with it. And I hope it does go short, of course, but I can't trade it because we're at those support levels. Euro Aussie, no interest. Euro CAD, again, same up the top, looking for it to come back to the bottom. Euro pound, the same. Euro Kiwi has flown the coop for the day because of the Kiwi news. Here's an order that you guys haven't got. I have traded this and the order is in the market. Here it is, if you want to follow it. It's Euro Swissy on the daily chart, and I'm trading that bar right there. And we're selling at 1.0658. We have a stop loss at 1.0715. And our TP1 is 1.0637, which is just before the monthly pivot. Not a sexy first take profit, but the trade becomes interesting if we do get a phase 3 here. 1, 2, 3 down to here, I'm hoping. That's my target area, around about 105 mark. So that is Euro Swissy. I think that's about it. Apart from the Aussie Kiwi weekly chart, which was a sell, I'm still going to leave this in the market, guys. I don't see any reason to take it off. Yes, I know we've had the news, and I know the news wasn't brilliant for the Kiwi, but we only have to have that little bit of extra push from China to send the Aussie south in a spiral very, very quickly. I think pound yen's another one. I really wanted to get short on pound yen, and that may provide an opportunity if we can get above this level. Same trade as everything. Get above the level, back underneath it, retest it. You can see the pivots very close together there. That's what I'd be looking for. Maybe even a retest of that now would suit me. We'll see. But that's about it. I'm pretty much done. And if I wake up and cough on my porridge again in the morning, it will be because dollar yen has gone down to 105 or something. But because of my dollar bias to the high side, very difficult for me to trade that. So I'm done, guys. Thank you once again for your company. We'll be back in the US session as usual to round out hump day. And then, of course, we're back in this show tomorrow at the very same time, Ash.
Sorry, mate, that wasn't very clean. I was muted. Okay. We will be back, yes, at 5 to 8, mate.
That's the date. Don't be late.